We'll go ahead and get started. First question, Jonathan Fagan.
Hello, Stephen. Do you have a feel for when you'll be having John and Danuel House back?
Yeah, probably won't be till after the trip. John went to the doctor yesterday, and it's not too bad at all, but it's just something that we really have to manage and be super cautious about, just because of the position that he's in, not playing in 2 years. So yeah, we're gonna be doing our treatment and ramping him up as we get closer to next week, but I don't anticipate him. He's definitely out tonight and most likely out for the weekend.
Just kind of related to that, other than, and Danuel House?
Oh yeah, House, same thing. We gotta just, it wasn't just the whatever they call it, the isolation or self-isolation. He also had the back issue prior to that. So he's been out for quite a while. So I don't anticipate him being back till after the trip as well.
Okay, and then related to that, and you've kind of addressed this before, but now you do sort of have a rotation that you will have for the next few games. Can these games be progress in chemistry, cohesiveness, even though important players are out, just because you won't have change theoretically game after game?
Yeah, I mean, it is a chance to possibly have 3 games where we'll have the same starting lineup or the same kind of rotation, like you're saying. So it is something to build off of, but not having your starting point guard is an issue. And guys kind of playing not necessarily out of position, but having a little bit more responsibility than they would have normally is just something that we're going to have to deal with. And it's going to be something that we're going to have to deal with all season. So yeah, these 3 games would be good to build some continuity and hopefully be able to throw the same lineup out there 3 times in a row. That would be nice.
Thank you.
Kelly Iko.
Hey, Coach, obviously you and Christian have a good relationship going back to your time at other stops, but what was the conversations like in the old days with C. Wood, and how has it progressed to now?
Yeah, the old days, it was more about kind of building habits and what it takes to be a consistent NBA player and things like that. You know, less about the game and playing, and more about just the maturity that it takes to be an NBA player. And now it's more about the responsibility that he has being a starting center and being a go-to guy and being the anchor of our defense and all of those kind of things. So it's definitely shifted in a big way. And it's a credit to him because he has really, really grown in so many different ways to become the player that he is right now, but also to be the professional that he is.
Dwayne Rakin.
Yeah, Coach, just a 2-part question. One, just looking at Phoenix, what are you seeing, the challenges that they'll present tonight? And then secondly, they just played Memphis. Memphis game was postponed. What does that do for you as a coach? Like, look, they just played a team that's postponing the game. How do you approach a game knowing that the team you just played a team that's postponed because of the health and safety protocols?
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, you just have to trust the NBA rules and protocols and follow what they do, what they say, and what they deem to be, acceptable, I guess. But that's something that is kind of out of our control, so we don't really think about it too much. The other part of your question, as far as the problems that they pose, obviously Chris Paul is a big problem, and Booker is a big problem. Those 2 guys with the ball in their hands, usually good things happen. And with Ayton rolling, and then the shooters that they have on the floor, the pick and rolls are going to be very, very important in our pick and roll defense, not just on the ball, but our protection behind the ball is going to be very important because both guys, I mean, Chris does it all. He scores and makes plays. Devin is more of a scorer, but he also makes plays for his teammates. So the pick and roll stuff is what we walked through a bunch today. We got to get better at our pick and roll defense. I mean, teams are attacking us with pick and rolls, which they should, because every team in the NBA does, and we got to get better at it. And like I've kind of said in the past, watching film and walking through is very, very different than actually going through it on the court. So those would be the challenges.
Michael Shapiro.
Hey, Coach. You noted Christian's responsibility, as a starting center on the defensive end. Have you seen any notable growth through 11 games? And then also, where does he need to grow the most?
I've definitely seen growth on the defensive end, especially. I mean, he was not struggling, but just trying to find his way defensively early in the season. And we've started to mix things up defensively, and it hasn't really been a problem for him to mix up coverages and patrol the zone when we're in zone and things like that. So the progress that he's made has been really good. The thing, he just has to keep progressing. Our pick and roll defense has to get better, and our general help rules and help coverages have to get better. Offensively, he's doing a great job. He's rolling, he's popping, he's making threes. And one of the harder things for a center who can both shoot and roll and finish is figuring out when to do either or both. I mean, either or, so he's figuring out when he should roll and when he should pop back and shoot the jumper. And sometimes it can be easier just to pop back every time because there's less resistance. But he has found that balance, which is really good for our team and good for him.
Adam Spaulding.
Hey, Stephen, are you going with the same 5 starters tonight?
I am not. I'm going with Eric Gordon, Victor Oladipo, Jae'Sean Tate with Tuck and Seawood.
You said on before Monday's game that you were kind of undecided on that last spot in the lineup. Was that also Tate then?
No, it was not. It was not. I was trying to figure out whether Jones should start and Eric should stay in his backup role or not, because Jones had started the previous game.
And why did you decide to go with Tate with that group?
More spacing, just a little bit more offensive punch, and Tate's earned it. I feel like he should get a few more minutes. Nwaba's done a very good job, and he's still a very big part of what we're doing. But I just feel offensively, especially, it gives us a little bit more flexibility to have a Tate on the floor.
And last question, Kaylee Griffin.
Coach, at the beginning of the season, there was an expectation that Eric would be coming off the bench. Obviously, the injuries have kind of derailed that. But as you get healthy bodies back, in particular John, hopefully in the near future, is that the plan, or are you hoping to get Eric Gordon back in that second unit?
Yeah, that's the goal. I mean, that's the conversation that we had at the beginning of the season, and I want him to be that scoring punch off the bench. But due to injuries, it's been hard to kind of keep him in a role. But it's been hard for everybody to kind of be in a role just because of the injuries and COVID and all these other things going on, the trade. So we're trying to kind of do it on the fly. But to answer your question, yes, we want EG coming off the bench. We want John starting, and then Eric's scoring punch coming in off the bench and his defense.
Thank you, Coach.
Mm-hmm.